Welcome to Wrestling NSFW with Jonny Fairplay. I'm joined by Matt Koon. Oh my God, do we know that name? Do we know that face? And do we know that goldenly chocolate voice? Hello, Matt Koon.
Hello, Jonny Fairplay. How you doing, man? It hasn't been that long, but it seems like it's been a long time.
It has. We've both been running the highways and byways of America, and
It's true.
fix that. Okay. And sorry, I switched. I'm now a professional podcaster since we last spoke.
It's crazy that you kind of know what you're doing now with the technology. Before, it was not like that at all.
No, we won't even go into how ill prepared that I was. So, but tonight we are talking the first ever NXT In Your House. I was actually in preparation for this, driving back from the beach, listening to Something to Wrestle With, Conrad Thompson and Bruce Pritchard talking about the first ever In Your House, which was affectionately known as In Your House and not In Your House 1, 2, 3, or any of those.
Interestingly enough, I could not start my beach vacation this weekend until I finished editing Something to Wrestle With In Your House.
There you go. So you're familiar with it. So,
very much so.
Would you have been beyond disappointed if they had not had the house entrance for this network special?
Why not go all the way, right? If you're going to call it In Your House, you have to make it. You have to do something. You can't just call it that. The whole retro thing was fun. Todd Pettengill, the house.
Oh,
yeah. You have to really start to garden your idea garden. You really have to start to harvest it and come up with a bunch of different ideas to make it work right now. And someone said In Your House, and why the hell not, Jonny Fairplay? Why the hell not?
Yeah, no, and I think that Triple H, he appreciates the homages to the old stuff. I think he, more than a lot of the people in the WWE hierarchy, appreciate the fans' appreciation for that nostalgia stuff. It's just like, they'll never remember. We do remember.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first WWE In Your House, watching it and seeing a DQ finish in the main event, going, well, I guess they don't want me to buy these anymore.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. It was an interesting idea. They were cheaper, they were shorter, they were more often. And really, the In Your House series is significant in wrestling history because that was the conduit by which we got our every month pay-per-views, which changed booking of wrestling forever, where we now book from month to month, and we have ever since.
Yeah, so fuck them is what.
Yeah.
I remember having a life and being able to chase pussy. So Matt Koon, before we officially get started, where can everybody find you at right now? What are you doing?
Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Koon Music. I was podcasting. I went to podcast with Vince Russo, and then I went to my own podcast, which is way more successful than it should have been. I quit all that to start making music, and I'm got some things in the works. This week will be a very big week for the Matt Koon music situation. I can't say any more except that I will say it. I'll break it on this show. I will have 2 different songs on 2 different wrestling shows this week, and they're my first ones, and they both happen this week. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm thinking AEW and Impact.
You could probably guess who they are too.
That I don't know.
Well, if there's two people, I don't know, debuting or something like that.
Yeah.
Anybody debuting probably would need a new song.
Okay. I don't know who's debuting. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I won't figure it out by the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
So
it's that song is a bit more of a classical song, more of a virtuosa type song, and as opposed to the other song. And that was a big clue, but if you don't know who that is, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not good at these.
We'll talk off air. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No one said there'd be math, Matt.
Yeah. True.
I'm here strictly for talent and personality, not for information.
Mm-mm.
So
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. So no, like just like Survivor NSFW, like it's just like, man, who's your winner pick? Just bet the bank on whoever I'm not guessing, and you will be just fine. I can't even tell you who's going to go home that night. So there we are. So, but talent, personality, fun stories that
And
rumored innuendo. I'm here for
and
all of it.
and podcast gold.
Podcast gold. I do shoot for that. So
Absolutely.
I did. I picked a new champion tonight. There we have it.
Nice. What shirt is that?
The Dream Over shirt.
Ah,
Yep. Yep. I did. Yep. There we go.
that did
So,
not work out.
yeah. All right. I only caught the tail end of the pre-show. Did you happen to catch that?
Did not catch the pre-show.
Okay. Fair
Did
enough.
not. I raced home from the beach with Matthew
Sure.
and had to say goodbye to him. He had to go to his mom's and turn it on just as it started the main show.
Okay, so well, the pre-show, as I said, I caught the last minutes. The video package showed the leading to the main event, as we saw tonight. A lot of people would not have guessed the women's NXT title would be the main event, and others would. And we'll get to why that was chosen and why it possibly would not be chosen. So my big takeaway from that was Charlotte was rocking this Gucci belt that I really want. And the first time I saw that belt, Baby Billy was rocking it at the end of Righteous Gemstones. And I knew right there I needed that belt, and I still have not purchased it. So that, and Sam Roberts was not rocking Jordans. He was rocking brown wingtips. Very disappointed in Sam Roberts.
I recently have made the change to Jordans. I don't think I'm ever going back if I ever wear shoes again, which I haven't in months. Like,
well, there's that. The good thing is you're not putting miles on your Jordans.
No, they look great. I've worn flip flops and basketball shorts for 3 months now. So
sweet. You've gone to the Bruce Pritchard school of not going to work.
I heard a story of Tony Schiavone that when he used to do the interviews for Crockett, often there'd be a hot soundstage, so he would shoot with a dress tie and a jacket, basketball shorts, and flip flops.
Wow, look there. Schiavoneing it back in the day as well.
Schiavone it for sure.
All right, so the show starts, and holy fucking moly, Todd Pettengill starts us off with NXT In Your House. We see Todd Pettengill now. I think he's aged pretty good, but we got highlights from Todd Pettengill rocking my current haircut.
Wow. Are you going for a Joe Exotic look?
It's more Johnny Exotic. T-shirt available at JohnnyFairplay.com. Don't forget, with every t-shirt purchase, you get a phone call from me, Jonny Fairplay, thanking you for your purchase. So, Todd Pettengill. We had the flashbacks to previous In Your Houses over the years, and it ended with not giving away a house, which I thought was so cool. Just the flashbacks, homages, and just the callbacks to the wrestling fans that appreciate all those things. I thought was really cool in that opening package.
When you see someone like Todd Pettengill, it's something you start to get used to. You go, man, he's gotten old. And the thing is that he's not the only one. I'm there with him. So every time I see someone who's gotten old, I'm like, man, he's got shit. I'm old too.
So this is not the first time I've heard Todd Pettengill's name in the last 20 plus years. I'm a big radiophile, as some of you know, and that's why I grew the appreciation to podcasts, and even doing a podcast sometimes well. And Todd Pettengill had left WWE and started morning radio in the New York market. A huge DJ for a morning shock jock, if you will. And he had the Todd Show, and he came into my sights with the Opie and Anthony show. They chose to pick fights with Todd, and it was very similar to Killian Cross and Ciampa that we will be discussing later on the show.
The one thing about Pettengill, and as you said, a lot of us just came to podcasting because right time, right place. I was one of those people with zero broadcast experience. So you see a Sam Roberts or you see a Todd Pettengill. When I see him, I'm like, damn, that dude is good. Like, he's really good, right? Like the way he reads, the way he talks, his stupid corny jokes. Pettengill's the man. Hire him full time. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to seeing Todd Pettengill on my television screen on a weekly basis. He's kind of the exact opposite of Mike Adamle.
He is the exact opposite. I mean, he's alive, so there's that.
Oh, did Mike Adamle die?
I think he did, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
you could be making that up.
I'm totally not, but that's
okay. Well, if he did, rest in peace. And this is the first I'm hearing of this.
A gladiator that rests in our hearts forever.
There you go. Absolutely. Then and how cool are so for those of you that don't remember, the first In Your House, they gave away a fucking house.
Yep, they gave a house. A kid signed up and an adult answered, and I think the adult figured out what was happening as he was getting called, and it's great because he just answers you. But I think maybe this is actually more clever than we think, because In Your House could just mean, you know, that's the only people watching is in your house. That's it, because you can't be in the building, so you're in your house.
Yeah. No, I think that the name was just, you know, super clever and not too cute for school. There was a couple things that were that may be a little too cute for school that coming up on the show that we'll be discussing later. But I was for it. I loved fake giving away a house right now. Not necessarily. You're not supposed to leave the house, so giving away a house would be foolish in 2020.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you could pay off somebody's house.
Well, there is that. You could make mortgage payments for the people that aren't allowed to leave their house.
How messed up would it be if they bought somebody a house after they fired like all those people though?
That would, yeah. So, well, maybe they could buy one of them a house.
Well, they tried to borrow Zack Ryder's house, and that did not work out so well.
There you go. Okay, so the house entrance set, I loved it. I was so happy to see that. Anything else would have been a huge disappointment. The opening band, not my cup of tea. I thought they were good at what they did, just not my kind of music. Where are you on that?
Yeah, as a musician and as someone who creates music and podcasts and stuff, I thought they were fine. They were good. They were different. They have a little different thing with the female vocalist trading off with the other vocalist. I'm not like a heavy metal guy, but being a music teacher, I kind of turn my judgment machine off when it comes to music a lot of times. And if it's executed well, I'm just like you said, it's not for me, but will I replicate like something like that one day for somebody? Probably.
There you go. So and the opening songs, you know, the theme songs they have for NXT pay-per-views over the years, they've had that harder edge. So, you know, I understand the direction that they're going in. You know, I get that that's their motif. As I said, and I thought it was, you know, well performed. I'm just like, ooh, this would never end up on my my iPhone.
Also, not sure how in place it was. You know, I mean, it's fine, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was to set a mood, but that's not the first time they've played a live takeover before. I saw them play a live takeover. I want to say in New York. Matthew and I have been to 6 or 7 takeovers, and I believe they may have played the Aleister Black theme song, even though it's not their theme song. I don't think, but I believe they played it, and it was pretty cool.
Okay, so I do like the Aleister Black theme song.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, tonight, as I said, you know, it worked. It served its purpose. It just wasn't for me. Next, we had a 6-woman tag, and I'm sitting there watching. I worked an indie show with Mia Yim in Atlanta.
Did you?
What are the odds? She was very nice. I think she threatened to punch me at one point, but playfully.
Maybe that situation was her bottom. You know, like that's what motivated her to where she is now.
That's what she needed to work an indie show in Atlanta with
John. She's like, well, this is it. I can't do this no more. So either quit, like it's a moment. She'll write a book about it. It'll be the chapter, and she'll say it's not Jonny Fairplay's fault. However, when I saw I was booked in the same locker room with him, I knew some changes had to be made.
Scott Steiner was also in that locker room. Lodi. Who's the the fake Nature Boy guy.
Buddy Lee?
Yeah.
Paulie. Yeah, Buddy Lee is a cartoon character, I think.
Yeah, Paulie. He was on that show.
Oh, wow.
Also very nice.
That's
he did not threaten to punch me.
How many people were there? Was it a good house?
Yeah. It's one of those Ronnie Gossett shows.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
He runs shows on the outskirts of Atlanta. Used to be a manager back in the day. Always has Buff Bagwell on his shows. Always has Scott Steiner on his shows. I managed a tag team called Hot Like Lava against the Rock and Roll Express, and the finish, I nailed Ricky Morton with a tiki torch. And before we went out there, Ricky Morton goes, "You better lay it in, brother, or I'm gonna come out there and get you." And I was like, for all those matches at the Greensboro Coliseum that you ruined with the Rock and Roll Express going over, I assure you, I will lay in the tiki torch shot to the back as hard as I can. And we got to the back, and Robert Gibson goes, "Man, you got him good." I said, yes, I did.
Yeah, they're interesting. I saw some AEW talent right now backstage at StarCast 2. They probably don't want to be mentioned, but they're veterans, like 20-year veterans, and they're working some holds with Robert Gibson in the hallway back there. Just little things, how to arm, hammer locks, things like that, drop toe holds, just real cool stuff. And it was very cool to see how smooth Robert Gibson was.
Oh yeah.
I think we're on a tangent though.
Yeah, no, I get, I get it. So, also real quick, was it Raquel Gonzalez?
I believe. I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyway, we did a charity event in Orlando. She was hanging around Casey Canatero, or the girl from American Gladiators, first girl to do the wall. Ricochet's girlfriend, also.
Yeah, Casey Canatero.
Yeah, they were together most of the weekend. Both super awesome. So it was real cool seeing Gonzalez in the ring doing her thing. She is a powerhouse. I mean, she can really do some powerful stuff out there.
How tall is she?
Taller than me, so maybe 5'10".
Okay, so she's got some height, and it was a good 6-man, I guess, to open. I guess the intent is to have a 6-man because it's nonstop action. The Maya Yim and Shotzi and Tegan, Candice LeRae, Dakota, and Raquel. What did you think of the match?
It reminded me of like almost like a WCW Nitro or just a WCW pay-per-view back in the day. You start with the cruiserweights, that the fast-paced, high-flying action. You had these 6 women that could create a lot of movement in the ring, and they did. I thought everyone looked the part. Most importantly, I mean, there's a few of the performers that randomly show up in AEW. That I don't think look the part. I feel like the costuming is can sometimes be low budget, and I'm not blaming AEW. I'm blaming the independent talent for not having the best possible gear, and that really stood out to me. That these guys' gear looked amazing, hair, face, everything. That it was total package, and then the work rate was great. A couple little things here and there, but I mean, I thought it was a great opener. Set the tone for the show, and exactly what I would look for in an opener on a pay-per-view like this.
I heard criticisms it was a little sloppy.
Not
I
much.
don't think I think we had that golden era like maybe 5 years ago when you had the Shield and the Wyatts, where you had these 6-man matches that were so synchronized and so good, where all the finishers came in a row, and it was really something. This was not that match, but I still thought it was enjoyable with a good finish.
Yeah. So and once again, to set that tone, you have the good guys win that first match, so everyone's like, okay, we're happy. You right. Start a pay-per-view happy, or network special as they're called in 2020. Sure. One of my takeaways was Candice LeRae looks like one of those Winx dolls. So back in the day, Piper was big into the Winx girls. They had the little wings and all that. And Candice LeRae, I thought this was Candice LeRae's best look since she's been in NXT.
She was really good. Her music doesn't really fit her. It's like metal, but Candice LeRae is someone I think is always going to step up to the level that she's given. So I think if she was given a bigger opportunity, I think she would shine on that stage, even if she doesn't show it all the time on the stage she's on. She will always rise to the level that she's at. So I would like to see them take a chance with her and do more with her.
Yeah, and Mia Yim is also super talented, and I think she's rose to the occasion each spot that she's been given.
I mean, a lot of talent in that ring. They're losing. They lost Bianca Belair and they lost Shayna Baszler, and they might lose one or two others. And they're kind of restocking the pool there in the NXT Women's, the much heralded NXT Women's division, and these 6 are a big part of that next generation.
Tegan Nox with the shiniest wizard for the win. You a fan of the Tegan Nox?
Yeah, I like Tegan Nox. She's attractive and she's a good wrestler. And the shiniest wizard is super cute. It's a good move for her to win with. It works with the knee brace. Not sure what her X factor is, but I think generally speaking, she is a fine professional wrestler.
My biggest thing that I did not like in this match, the match starts and, the ring is surrounded by the plexiglass and the NXT trainees, serving as an audience, and them chanting, "This is awesome," to start the match. I wanted to throw my shoe at my television.
Yeah, I don't know what you can do with that. You need to have some really smart instructions and some really smart people out there in the crowd to come across a little bit more naturally. I think there were times where the crowd really worked, but I think when it seems like synchronized crib notes, I don't think it's as effective, because I think wrestling fans are very hip to the premeditated nature of all of it, and you don't want the crowd to also be premeditated.
I mean, but I said, maybe they'd work to a spot, then you can break out that "this is awesome." And even still, NXT trainees, I don't think should be chanting "this is awesome."
I mean, there's probably an element there too of like, you want these people you look up to see you cheering for them, and you want the people you look up to see you into it and being enthusiastic. And it's a weird it's definitely a weird situation.
Yeah. So, but that one took me at the onset. I was like, ooh, just, I mean, like they had, no one had locked up and they're chanting "this is awesome." It's like, shut up. So I don't know. It seemed markish, and it's just like, hey, you guys have started the journey to become professional wrestlers. You're not marks.
Right.
I thought I just thought it looked bad on them. So, but as I said, match was great, fun start. That's the way you get it. Then bam, another throwback, another homage, another callback. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: WWE ice cream cookie sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm not sure the timing of Lord Alfred Hayes and the In Your Houses, but we'll pretend that they overlapped.
Do you not think so?
Not much. What do you think? Like what, 95, right? 96?
It's close. It's close.
It's although they might have kept his voice a little bit longer,
right?
But I'm not even sure if they used him during the Raw years, though.
Yeah.
But for me, when I hear that, when I hear that, I think of things like, WrestleMania 3, like this program right here, that era,
So no, so that made me happy. And have you tried the WWE ice cream cookie sandwiches yet?
I have not. My fandom is not that far-reaching.
Yeah, well, you look as though you might enjoy one.
Yeah, but like, I'm gonna get like better ice cream than I think they would have in that.
See, back in the day, I remember going to the orthodontist and the drugstore right beside there. I would purposely tell my mom, don't be in a hurry to pick me up, and she had no problem with that at all. Sometimes I would wait hours, and they and the ice cream cooler, they had WWE ice cream bars, or WBF ice cream bars, and oh man, just fingers crossed for a ravishing Rick Rude, perhaps, or you'll settle for a Macho Man.
So you didn't know what you were getting till you open it up.
Oh yeah, no, lots of
Oh,
Coco
yeah.
Bewares, lots of Hillbilly Jims.
Lots of cousin Luke.
Yeah, no cousin Luke's, but both WWE Hall of Famers. But once again, not what you want. I mean, like, Rick the Model Martel would have been a good one.
And the Hillbilly Jim ice cream bar just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever.
God,
Like his Hall of Fame speech is what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes, very much, yes. So, but yes, I am looking forward to procuring some WB ice cream cookie sandwiches. I think they're going to be great. Next up, we have Damien Priest versus Finn Balor. I got a chance to see Damien Priest in Ring of Honor. I'm guessing you
Yeah,
did
me too.
too, perhaps.
Yeah, we saw him. We saw him in Vegas the month after All In. A few of us went to their pay-per-view, and we were front row, and we saw. That's the first time I ever saw him. I wasn't hip to him at all. He's got a little something. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think they found what it is, but that's my take on Damien Priest. He's got a little something. Like there is something there, and they need to work a little bit harder to find it. I don't think it's what he's doing now, but it could be. But he definitely has an upside. He's definitely worth investing time in. He's not doing anything for me now. So I hope that they realize that maybe he needs some changes, some evolution, some development of his character.
I'm with you, but I don't think the next step is there. When I saw him in Ring of Honor, my first impression was this guy was made for WWE. Like, I'm just like, this is, Vince could love him, might not, but could. And I think he's learned all that NXT is going to teach him. I think there is something else for that character, but if they didn't figure out before they put him on television, and they haven't figured it out since they've put him on television, I don't think they're the place for him to figure out who he is. I think. Go ahead.
A lot of times it happens, right? A lot of times there's a moment that's inexplicable and unplanned, and then it turns into something. I think that's what I'm looking at. One moment, one promo, one thing, and we see something we haven't seen, like Hangman Page drinking beer or whatever.
Sure.
But like when I saw him in Ring of Honor, I thought he was. I believe I saw his last match. I think I saw it was just Jonathan Gresham. I think it was his last match in Ring of Honor. And so we knew he was going, but he's got himself in tremendous shape. He obviously wants it, but a lot of it just gets so homogenized, with the 3 NXT poses and the facing the hard camera, regardless of what the hell's going on, and all those little NXT things. It gets a little homogenized. So the chance to break out and be different, which is what they say they want, is minimized by the sameness of the presentation a lot of times.
Well, that's why I'm thinking he ends up on the main roster, which NXT is also main, but let's say he ends up on Raw, and you have either Paul Heyman or Vince McMahon giving him "You're a monster. Show me you're a monster." And I think that's when we get the Damien Priest inside of there that's going to be that breakout character.
But chances are he's going to be brought up and he's going to be like a heater for like AJ Styles or something, like that's how they introduce guys like that,
Yeah.
But I think this would be a case, sometimes they bring guys up when they haven't got fire, right? They say like Ty Dillinger or someone like that, where they go, okay, he's been down there long enough. Let's bring him up and see what he does up here. You never know. So it could be that. But a lot of times, I think it behooves them to let someone catch a little bit of fire before they bring him up, so that they know how to do it. So that when they start at ground zero again in WWE without any character introduction or whatever, they have the experience of getting themselves over.
This match I felt kind of hard hitting. Balor with the drop kick to start, set the tone that this is going to be an offensive battle. Huge bumps on the metal ring steps, and Balor wins with a back-to-back coup de grace, one to the back of the head, and then followed by one to the chest. I mean, with the recent call-ups of Donovan Dijakovic and Matt Riddle, rumored innuendo that Damian Priest could be next on that short list of call-ups. And if so, Balor winning makes sense. I think Balor winning makes sense either way, but that's just
me. I mean, Balor's role is strange now, right? Like he's
very strange.
It's like, you know what his role seems to me like, Johnny? It seems like a guy who's leaving. That's what his role seems to be like. Like
I don't think I think he's where he wants to be, and I think he's where he's good. It just doesn't make sense. How do you not make money and make a superstar out of Finn Balor on the SmackDown or Raw roster?
Yeah, that's I guess that's what I'm saying with that. And also, with the Dream might be going up too. Like there's always talk about Dream going up. There's nothing left for him now. So it's possible he's moving up too, and they're reshuffling the deck again and bringing the bottom ones up and putting the top ones over and kind of reshuffling the whole deck. And I think Damian Priest is a big part of this, but I don't think Finn Balor's a big part of this, which is crazy.
No. I think Finn Balor is where he wants to be.
I think one other thing about this match is this match sets the theme of the night for the men's singles matches, which are little guys against big guys. Little guys against big guys, right? So in this one, Finn has some offense, which is much more high impactful than the other two smaller guys that wrestle later, to me. He's got much more believable offense against bigger people. He's also a former Universal champ, so he gets the win. But the other smaller guys were not so lucky later on.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, that's the lesson that we're supposed to learn in WWE, that the big guy wins.
Right.
Yes.
And they sure did in the next match. You had NXT US champion Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. It wasn't a squash, but it was a case of a overmatched smaller heel being beaten by a sometimes outsmarted yet overpowering babyface.
How awesome was the opening segment, with Candace and Johnny at the dinner table? Johnny goes to leave, says goodbye to the Doc Hendricks frame picture by the door. Dude, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, that's fucking Doc Hendricks. I'm like, how cool. And then he opens the door and it's like, oh my God, he's walking out the house. This is so great.
If you want a better picture of what, how WWE makes you conform to what they do, you look at Michael Hayes and Doc Hendricks, right? His hair is so perfect. It's so just blow dried and it was, short and tight. Not like Michael Hayes at all. I forgot one thing to mention that you mentioned in the previous match. That steps bump. I think that's ill-advised, and I don't think they should do that ever again.
There was a couple bumps on the stairs, and no, I thought it was a hard-hitting match. They if they felt comfortable with it, cool. I mean, those stairs.
Should that really be the standard? The talent's cool with it, because talent are crazy enough to do anything to get themselves over. It doesn't mean it's the right idea.
Well, I mean, the big bump was the spinning forearm into Priest and him doing the Nestea plunge into the stairs. When I was working the Indies, 98, 99, I took that bump not into metal ring steps, but I took that bump from the apron to the floor pretty much every match I was managing. That was my go-to bump, and I would like to think that Damian Priest is 8,000 times tougher than me, maybe 9.
Well, that being said, you had wind resistance going against you because you're so light that when you fell, you did one of these things. You know what I'm saying?
No, I assure you, it did not feel like pretty much every time it severely knocked the wind out of me. I'm like, yep, that sucked once again. So because it was they were just the baby face would be like, do you want me to punch you or do you want me to close? I'm just like, you get anywhere near me, I'm taking the bump. We're good. Don't worry about it.
the Gargano Lee match, I think, is this clash of styles that often works. In this case, I think it was just not believable at all. And I don't use that word a lot. I get kind of triggered sometimes. People use that word as a way to kind of demonize wrestling today. But man, there were moments where it looked like Marco Stunt was in there, like Keith Lee. And Gargano he's a scientific wrestler. He's not like a guy who will do the things that Finn Balor will do, the high impact stuff. So I didn't really buy the fact that Gargano was a threat to him. And also, I'm not a fan of the heel Gargano character. I know they're trying, but I just don't get it. What did you think?
I felt like Gargano was a second ahead of Lee a few times in the match. Actually, more than a few. So, I think Gargano knew what he was going to do, and he's just so quick and sudden in taking those bumps that Lee was 1 second behind delivering whatever the blow was going to be to give him that bump. And the big thing was I feel like a real live crowd. This match is complete. I think this is the best match on the show in front of a real live crowd.
Hard to say, but let me tell you, have you been to a takeover before?
Not a takeover. I've been to a couple NXT live shows, but not a takeover.
So I went to San Jose, which was the takeover before they had takeovers, and then I've been to all the ones in SummerSlam weekend in Brooklyn, and then Dallas and Orlando, and I'm pretty sure we did one or two more. And the crowd is everything to NXT. I remember when we went to the San Jose show, which was the show that proved to Vince McMahon that they could do this. And I remember telling Matthew at the time, I said, it's like a PG ECW, which I meant as a compliment. They cheered the good guys, they booed the bad guys, and they're on board with everything. They're a bunch of smart marks, but they're with the program. And it really works in those arenas where there's 10, 15,000 people in there. We saw Cole and Gargano. And Gargano is a very popular, or someone they're going to react to a lot. And Keith Lee is kind of the new guy. I totally agree. The crowd, especially for NXT, is everything. It's what makes it special from the very beginning, from the Hulu days of NXT, where that crowd was a crowd people loved, the Full Sail crowd, even though now people seem to have turned on them. The crowd's very important.
And I feel that Gargano, I feel he's an amazing wrestler, and I feel he's a reactionary wrestler. And I think instead of, reacting to moves, based on reacting to the crowd, I felt like he was doing more of a choreographed dance because he wasn't being reactionary. I think him and Keith Lee decided they were going to have the best match of the night. And I think some things didn't come across as clean because they were just trying to do it so perfect versus doing it more natural.
There's been a lot of talk that the sports entertainers like Velveteen Dream don't do as well on these crowdless matches like a Daniel Bryan, the work rate guys. But I think you've hit upon something that's even more of a causative situation for enjoying these matches, which is the people that need a crowd, the people that need the crowd to react suffer. And Gargano is someone, like you say, plays off the crowd. And the match to me, even the finish where it's like, why didn't he just do that the whole time? Like he just destroyed him, he's like bomb, gone, and why didn't he just do that at the beginning? He didn't need an opening to do that to that little guy. He wasn't, they didn't really tell the story as good as say they tell it during an AJ Styles Brock Lesnar match. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. So the highlight for me was watching the ring security cam on the house, watching Gargano locked out of the house. It was so because they have the set of a resculpture of the set of the In Your House, but the only difference is there's a ring security thing by the doorbell because it's 2020. And to use that security footage of Gargano trying to get back and Keith Lee coming from behind, I thought was amazing. I thought that was one of the highlights of the night for me. I was just like, hey, it's ring security. They should be a sponsor of a podcast.
The effort was there for sure.
Yes. So I thought that was pretty cool. I loved locking the door behind him when he does leave, putting the key down his pants, and then using the key. For those of you that remembered, he had the we had the interference by Candice LeRae. You had Mia Yim chasing her away. That gave Gargano the opportunity to use the house key to the eye, and not so fast. Keith Lee with the comeback and the win.
Now, in the past, in wrestling's past, this would mean the end of the feud. The good guy wins. But WWE style, NXT style, probably this Wednesday they'll do something to try to get Gargano's heat back. Probably, I'm guessing the solid money is on some kind of parking lot attack of some type on somebody. So that's where I'm putting my money on for this Wednesday.
Perhaps I think this leads to a mixed tag at the next takeover.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it'll be a Wednesday night thing. I think it'll be a takeover thing, unless they do one of those Super Wednesdays to combat something that AEW is doing. Perhaps
they might. I mean, they might counter Fighter Fest with something.
Yeah. So, but I see this being it. I see it being a match that people will actually care about when it comes time. Either on a Super Wednesday event or an NXT takeover. And when that happens, I think it'll be. I think it'll be good. I think Keith Lee. I've seen him live now twice. And I love him, and at the house show, he feels a little looser. Once again, one of those people that does interact with the crowd. And you saw, for me personally, I saw those Junkyard Dog elements that I'm just like, man, this guy's going to make a lot of money. I mean, I think we saw that at the Royal Rumble, on the big stage. I think you saw some of that personality there that you're just like, man, this guy is going to make some money. And I didn't see that tonight. So, but once again, I thought the match was really good. I thought it was hard hitting. But as I said, it felt more like a dance, and I feel both those guys could have benefited from a real live crowd and not people being told to chant whenever they were chanting.
Wrestling is designed like that, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling is designed to be effective when they have a crowd that they can work. That's the whole genesis of it. So it takes a pretty special performer to make you forget about that, or a special gimmick. And I don't think this match was it. But
yeah, and I also I've been watching during the quarantine. I feel that AEW's had the advantage in that I think a lot of the younger, newer talent that AEW has is not used to working a 10,000 seat arena and not used to working in front of 10,000 actual fans. And so they're not playing to that guy in the last seat of the last row as you're instructed to in NXT, all the way up the WWE system. Whereas, they're looking to, entertain the guy on the front row and play to that guy on the front row. And so, when the quarantine goes into effect, they're just like, hey, this is like the last 10 indie shows I did before I signed here. This is perfect. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, it was. But then again, it's not like Keith Lee was working for 10,000 people before he joined NXT, and he's only had a couple takeovers.
Yeah, I know. And then and Johnny Gargano once again worked the indies. But I just think that they've learned their craft, and they've learned how to play to that bigger audience. So I think that limits. Once again, I think this match is the match of the night in front of a live crowd.
Yeah, I would think that could definitely be the case.
So next up, we have the Backlot Brawl. And we start with the champ now 372 days and counting. Adam Cole, baby, shows up in a shock the system monster truck. Fortunately for everyone involved, this was not on the roof of a building or an arena. So no one died.
It might as well have been. I mean, this was not good.
And this is followed by a yellow Lambo or Ferrari. I believe it was a Lamborghini with the Dream, the Velveteen Dream, rocking a look of Hollywood Hogan meets Negan. and I liked it.
I think, with Keith Lee wearing the Black Lives Matter trunks, that Dream wearing the Hollywood Hulk Hogan on the back is a statement of some kind. And even though he's done it before, but I can't imagine it not being some kind of a statement at this point in time.
Ooh, wow, I did not think about it like that. I tend to watch wrestling to not think about the world. Like if there's anything that I think is that that for me I look to as an escape outlet. I don't want to believe that they're friends. I don't want to believe. Like I want to separate all that. So the last thing I was thinking was Velveteen Dream in that Hollywood. Wow, that's pretty stiff.
I mean, I can't in this time. It's just, and
you're right. I did not think about it, and it's just, wow, that's a holy moly, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, Dream doesn't give a shit. I love him.
Dream is on a path of his own. I mean,
everything I've heard about him, I had a chance to talk to Dan, who is the guy who owns
Dan McDevitt.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Dan's
I know Dan.
Great. I love Dan. And
Corporal Punishment.
Yeah, exactly. He has great stories about Taz, like taking suplexes from Taz, and the advice that Taz used to give him about his suplexes. Do you know what they were?
Get ready.
Tuck your head, brother.
Tuck your
head, brother.
I believe it.
But he told me, he has nothing but just magnificent things to say about Dream, and that's where he started. That's where he came from.
Patrick Clark started there. So I remember on
Leo Rush as a tag team.
What's that?
With Leo Rush as a tag team.
Yeah. No, I remember when Patrick first started on Tough Enough, and he mentioned, I was just like, I know that motherfucker went to Bone Breakers Wrestling School in Baltimore, Maryland, or was it Glen Burnie, Maryland? And I know he was trained by Dan McDevitt. So I'm so happy that it, because it was, I thought it was funny on Tough Enough, where he was made to look like a nerd and uncool because he didn't want to go out to the club and he wanted to sit there and watch the WWE Network had just launched. Right. And he was just like, guys, you don't understand. There's every pay-per-view from WWF and WCW. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get fucked up and then have sex with each other. Not you.
He was on Tough Enough, and the rest of them were on The Real World,
Yeah. So but they didn't. You would think WWE would embrace it. They'd just be like, "Hey, here's the guy you should want to be like," and they're just like, "No, you're a nerd too."
But the thing with Dream on Tough Enough is that nobody watched that show and did not become a fan of that kid. Patrick Clark. The kid, whether he was talking shit to somebody about them not caring about the business, or whether he just cut just the brutalest promo of his life on someone, and Jericho picking him out and said, listen, kid, you've got some, you've got it. And them giving him this god awful gimmick, just the worst, like a gimmick that's a rib. There's no way to make this gimmick work, but this kid just embraced it and got it over. Like Dusty with the polka dots, man. All respect in the world for Velveteen Dream.
You didn't think there was a chance of the Velveteen Dream gimmick getting over?
Dude, when I first saw it, I was like, what are they doing with this kid? This kid is like, to me, he was like going to be this cool white meat baby face, that's what I saw as a human being, when I saw him on the show.
I had no idea who it was when I was just like, holy shit. And I'm just like, if anyone's going to embrace this, it's him. And I think this is a great gimmick for him because he just seems like an all-in type of kid.
And I believe it also came from Tough Enough because I think he freestyled the gimmick and the outfit in a scene in Tough Enough when they were trying on stuff, when they went to a prop house or something.
There you go. What's the Negan reference?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. You don't know what Negan is?
No.
Oh, Walking Dead.
Oh no, I don't watch Walking Dead.
Negan's the bad guy. He had the baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, and it's just baseball bat. Or is there barbed wire on it? I can't remember. It's been too long.
Everything's wrestling.
Yeah. So anyway, he he knocked the head off of one of the main good guys on Walking Dead. Like, he's a really bad guy. So,
Well, it
yeah.
looked awesome. He always looks
Yeah.
awesome. He's got a new hairstyle. That might be his promotion to SmackDown hairstyle or Raw hairstyle. Um,
I thought
you
it was
know,
his K Quick haircut.
it's something. Maybe that's the same thing. Maybe it's Vince is like, I love it. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Well, Vince does love R-Truth.
It was an interesting match in that, it was a thematic, cinema inspired match.
This is our second cinematic match we've seen thus far, not into pay-per-view. The Firefly Funhouse at Mania being the first exception. Every other of these cinematic pieces have ended a pay-per-view or network special.
Yeah, and that says something, right? Because they make them ahead of time, and they know whether it's awesome or not. And
well, I think it's based on if a babyface or heel wins. I think when a heel wins, it's in the middle, and when a babyface wins, it's at the end.
But if it's like the most awesome match possible with like all these holy shit moments, they'd put Adam Cole. They'd headline with Adam Cole.
I thought this was going to be the headline match.
They've done it before, when Adam Cole won War Games and stuff.
Yeah, but not that's. I'm talking in the cinematic match era. We have had. Yeah, when the baby faces have won, it's been the last match. When the heels have won, it's been an earlier match.
So that's how you know.
There you go.
Just what we needed. Another way to know.
Another fucking way to know. The fucking Da Vinci Code of fucking cinematic matches. We just found it.
So this did not bring to mind the epic Steve Regal, Fit Finley, WCW.
It did not, and that match should have sucked because like Steve Regal at that time, like why was he doing hardcore? Made no sense. Fit Finley, I was never a huge like he wore that stupid jacket with the one sleeve bigger than the other. I was just like, I did not like that guy. And I grew to like him later, but not in I just grew to like his entire body of work. But like that match, that hardcore match between Regal and Fit Finley in the front, that's one of the greatest WCW matches in the last 5 years of the company.
It made me a fan of Fit Finley, and it was like one of those, once in a while they would do something really great, and that was one of those things. I don't think this was that.
No.
I thought the camera cuts were weird and sometimes ill-advised.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone be interfered with in a match by shining lights in their face
or beeping the horn.
Or beeping the horn.
The beeping the horn was bad.
Morrow missed a call because they're not there, right? They're like at home or whatever doing this on remote. The announcers are, but he missed a call. He thought that Cole did a Panama Sunrise when it was actually Dream's hammer. And I think the rest of us were on board with that too. It was kind of a mess, not the right guys, not something for Adam Cole. This is not what Adam Cole needs, that crowd, boy, more than anything in the world,
Yeah. This wasn't good. I mean, like the Uber showed up, they do the somebody call for an Uber. It was cute. I'll give it like I don't want to hate on that. I could have done without it, but it was fine. Like, anyone like, if I had a girl watching with me and she was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. I've been like, yay, something saved tonight. Like, this little pacifier for 45 minutes, hopefully. But yeah, no, this match was not good. I like the headlights. I thought that, because you're looking for anything to replace a live real crowd, anything. Right. And I'm just like, okay, I think I like the headlights, but then, beeping the horn to stop Dream from jumping off the ladder. And then the tortured soul that is Dexter Lumis beats up both Strong and Fish and locks them in the trunk. I was just like, wow, he sure is. So he should go for the tag straps.
Do tortured souls draw caricatures?
At Myrtle Beach they do.
Because Because that's the gimmick, right? He's a tortured soul who also draws caricatures. Like he'll draw you on a skateboard with a little hat on. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
Yeah. He's
And if you ever see him, Sam Shaw or Dexter Loomis
yeah.
at a convention, he's always got his drawings. He will sell his drawings at his gimmick table.
Is he like Simon and his drawings?
Drawings, Simon and my drawings.
Yes.
Um,
Are you a
I,
fan of the Dexter Loomis character or not yet? Or
no,
not?
not yet, not yet. I'm not sure what the hell's going on there.
I think
Um,
I liked Sam Shaw when he was originally introduced in Impact Wrestling when he had the crush on Christy Hemme and it was kind of the Dexter character.
right, right.
And I don't think they ever wrote an ending for that. And so therefore, it sputtered out and wasn't well, they didn't write a good ending is what I
My
mean. And
my
I feel
I go
they're in the same spot in NXT.
My son and I were talking about Dexter Loomis today, and he's like, they did this before in Impact, and they did it better. You know,
Yeah.
with the Sam Shaw character. And I'd say so. As far as the finish, I think the deal is Dream cannot contend for the title ever again. Um, with Cole as the champion, if he loses, which he did, um, you know, uh, Dream is really suffering from not having the crowd more than anybody. There's no sense in him staying in NXT. I hope he's moving up. It'll be nice when they get a crowd and he's able to play in front of a crowd. But for now, his character in NXT, it looks like a typical NXT send off to me.
Hopefully. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of the you lost the match, you can never get a title shot again, and not I like a journey of the character accepting that they can never get that title shot again, but then fate intervenes and presents an opportunity, not immediately. I mean, like have the patience and a year down the road that opportunity presents itself through other circumstances and baby face has the inner conflict of if they agree, it's just like, I agree, this is my last shot. I didn't do it. Maybe I don't deserve this opportunity that I'm not supposed to have.
Right.
I love that story.
It
However,
yeah.
another year of Dream and NXT, I don't need that.
Yeah, it works sometimes, and then there's the Cody Rhodes one, where they, hopefully they have an ending for that one, but Cody can never contend for the
Yeah, I feel that like that's gonna be. I think they're gonna create a Royal Rumble type deal.
right.
They're
He's
gonna
got
have
to
their
win it.
version of the Royal, like not the Casino Royale, but something good. Casino Royale has its flaws, so but something like there will be a circumstance in which Cody does then. That's why I had no use for Cody winning the TV title now. Like you have a babyface champion with your main belt, your secondary title should have been on a heel, and Cody shouldn't have touched it. So because I like if Cody has the TNT title and it means something, then why does he give a fuck about the world title?
Right.
Like
But
I
that
want
also,
that world title lingering in the back of his head.
it harkens back to the days where, you had on the same show a world title, a national title, a US title, a TV title, and they all had their own little worlds. And Dusty Rhodes could hold the US title or the TV title, and it could mean something, and maybe that's where they're going with Cody on that.
I get that part, but I think there's a Dusty didn't have that you can never have that title shot again
No,
stipulation.
no.
So he does have that, and I think having the TNT title is counterproductive to that. And what most importantly, you have a babyface world champion that I don't think is losing the belt anytime soon. Put that secondary title on your new monster.
Yeah. That would be one way to do it as well. But I think the idea is let Cody build that title up. The man makes the title, not the title makes the man, right?
It's true.
So
I get it. And a lot of people, have not seen the best of Lance Archer. I
right,
would say a vast majority of their fans never saw his latest run in New Japan Wrestling, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
You know, and my favorite thing about Lance Archer is he's like, everybody must die. He like kills everybody on the ring on the way to the ring, right? And he's murdering people. He's the murder hawk. And every night on Twitter, he's like, God bless everybody. Good night.
He's so nice. He bought me a steak dinner one time.
He is really nice.
Like that Mia Yim, he was on that Mia Yim show with me in Atlanta, and the next morning, like Ronnie took me and Lance to the airport, and he goes, Jonny Fairplay, he goes, what are you having for breakfast? I was like, I think I'm gonna do steak and eggs. He goes, I'd like to buy your breakfast, sir.
Man, he was a nice guy.
He's so nice.
Yeah, that he told me that was the turning point in his career as well.
He's like, I'm gonna go to Japan and everybody dies.
I spent my last $10 on buying Jonny Fairplay steak and eggs.
Yeah, motherfucker couldn't just get a waffle like a normal human being. Nah. Right. Yeah, I'll do the flank steak. Yeah, what's jalapenos extra? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Lance Archer's paying for it.
Do you have truffles? Could you go ahead and shred some truffles on top of this bad boy for me?
Fresh. Thank
fresh.
extra? White. Yeah, I know. It's not a problem. Lance Archer.
That's right.
He's the very tall gentleman beside me.
You gotta love the commitment he has to his hairstyle. Like I'm a big fan of that. You know,
yeah.
Like he's not, you know, but again, that not just the run. The run was great, but you can actually trace Lance Archer's growth and his growth in the eyes of fans to one match, which was his match against Ospreay in Dallas. It's part of Q1. I think that match is what made him, and I think Ospreay is amazing. And I think I've seen pictures of him working out. I think he's bigger and taller than Lance Archer now, because he's nonstop working out now.
Oh, there you go. So I thought Lance Archer and Jon Moxley in New Japan. Me personally, Jon Moxley's best match I've ever seen him in.
Yeah. Man, every match Jon Moxley has in New Japan is good, you know, and that match was really good. That match was a lot of fun. That was good.
So good. And I'm not a huge fan of the garbage stuff, but I thought they made all of it work.
Well, one thing that Jon Moxley was not on was NXT TakeOver.
Yes. Okay, so let's finish up with this parking lot brawl. The glass shards in Cole's arm, back, and shirt. I thought it looked cool, and I think it was real.
I think it was real too.
Yeah. And I think it sucked because you saw the blood, but I don't know how long he sat on that, on that broken windshield, but you saw the blood dry up.
There's a part of me that thinks it's somehow less barbaric to get the Randy Orton / Kerry Von Erich arm blood as opposed to cutting yourself on your forehead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's just as barbaric or just as
equally.
So,
I'm sure that hurt.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of blading, but like when I see blood in a match, it excites me. I remember telling Nick Gage this, because I like Nick Gage a lot, like personally. And so I'm like, you know what, man? I'm drawn to the violence, but it's just too dangerous to enjoy, Yeah. And he's like, I get it, man. But like the blood, I do like it, but I just don't want them to cut themselves. I don't know how to win here, Johnny. I don't know what.
Same. I'm with you. So next up, heel move of the night. What's that?
Karrion Kross versus Tommaso. Is that next?
Well, no. Next is Todd Pettengill shilling the 900 number, and then an AOL chat that he is still a part of.
Man, that dude, and I made a joke on Twitter that most older wrestlers, most ex-wrestlers have AOL accounts.
Oh, right? Yes, a lot.
I could name
my grandmother, the dead grandma. She has an AOL account. AOL, her email is at AOL, and like in her login screen, she still logs in to AOL as her homepage.
Let's see. Tony's on Yahoo. Bruce is on AOL. Dutch Mantel's on AOL. Russo's on AOL.
Yeah,
it's crazy, right? Like they just like once they set in, they're like, I'm getting on the internet, and that's how they're gonna stay.
I'm just happy it's not Prodigy.net.
Yeah. I do know but Meltzer still has the Juno email.
Oh yes, because nothing would make me happier than Juno to shut down and then just everything's gone.
Yeah. And he would lose, like he has everything on his email.
Yeah.
He he
It would
would
make me so
stammer.
happy.
He would stammer for a very long time.
If I go back and play Survivor, I'm going to use all my winnings to buy Juno and shut it down.
It's a good idea.
Pretty good, huh? Smart.
Yeah,
I can think of no smarter way that I could spend $1 million.
I like when Meltzer and Alvarez are talking, and Alvarez like, "There's 1 million people there," and Meltzer's like, "No, there wasn't," and Alvarez like, "There was like 1 million people there," and I was like, "Nope, there wasn't 1 million people there." And he's like, "Well, let's just say there's 1 million." Nope, there wasn't 1 million people there. It's the best thing in the world. He's Drax basically.
There you go. All right. Next we have HBK, Triple H, and Road Dogg acting old because they are in the AOL chat room.
Yeah, and that was the reference I made to the AOL. It's very true, and it's fun, I guess.
I would be shocked if Road Dogg didn't have an AOL account.
The more we see these guys do these callbacks, the less effective they are, right? Like we saw Triple H and HBK wrestle this year in the last calendar year, so it's not as cute as it could be, and maybe we could see them in a different role. Like, man, Road Dogg is so effective on the microphone, when
he gets to cut a promo. But at the same time, I could have giggled at Triple H and Road Dogg being the grumpy old men not understanding the computer.
Sure.
I at all times hate HBK being the out of touch dad.
I'd never go for HBK being goofy.
Yeah, zany HBK is the worst HBK.
Okay, but hold on. Zany, like legit coked up out of his mind HBK.
Oh yeah, I'm all telling Tammy Sitch to put on the lipstick. Yeah, I'm all
it's trying to recall that character through a born again point of view. Doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, no. I as I said, zany HBK is the worst.
Zany.
Yeah, zany.
HBK shouldn't be zany. I agree with
that. No. I mean, like this dude. So anyway,
he's Shawn Michaels.
Yes. So next we have the sweet fucking entrance of Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux. Fall and pray. I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you, Matt Koon. This is my first time seeing Karrion Kross.
Really?
Yeah. So I listen to I listen to 40, 50. I listen to too many hours of podcasts every week because I'm a realtor.
You can easily pretend that you've seen him before, easily.
No, I mean, I think I can tell you lots about, he was Killer Kross in Impact Wrestling. I can tell you the storyline that involved him, and then everyone is like, what promotion is he going to leave Impact for? Is he going to go to AEW or is he going to go to NXT? And I'm just like, have you fucking seen Scarlett Bordeaux? Because I feel like there was no real option for him except to go to NXT.
Well, they said the same thing about Marty too. Marty's girlfriend was over at NXT, right? And a lot of people thought he would go to NXT because Scarlett.
Well, I don't know what she looks like, but she does not look like Scarlett Bordeaux. There's no girl on the planet that looks like her.
Scarlett Bordeaux is a particular talent. I will give you that.
I think she's the hottest girl in the history of wrestling.
Wow, that is so better than Peak Sunny.
Better than Peak Sunny. I didn't even want. I mean, because as I said, tonight was my first night seeing Karrion Kross in action. But I've seen if you look at her Scarlett's Instagram, I like every picture she's ever put up, except if it's a picture with her and that dude. And I'm like, no like. Hope you're getting the message.
Stupid, tall, good-looking, in shape guy who could kick your ass. Damn him.
You know what? I'll be honest with the shaved head and the the tribal tattoo. He's got some good tattoos, but he also has some bad tattoos. I'm just like, ooh, is this guy not good? And tonight I was like, yep, he is good. So I'm like, she is never leaving him.
I didn't see him right. Like maybe if he sucked. Maybe
Yeah, if
got
he
the
sucked, I'd be like
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it in front of him, but I'd shoot her a message from like a fake AOL account. I'd be like, hey, that dude you're with, kind of generic. You could do better. You better watch Survivor.
Everybody seems to agree. You ever watch Survivor? You
Did you ever watch Survivor 17 years ago?
You ever heard a story about Survivor?
Yeah.
So
Can you spell Survivor?
With Killer Cross, I saw him wrestle in AAA, and he was good. He could hang with the luchadors.
Yeah, he's real good.
He was a monster over there. He had her at the side. I think, like you do, I mean, God, we know what's going to happen when they go to the main roster. She's going to get pushed. Like, we already know this. This is happening. Like, doesn't matter what.
Like, as I said, I've never seen him, and I've just I've heard about him, and I've heard nothing but really good things from Jason Powell and Wade Keller and Todd
Pettengill.
Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Todd Martin, not Todd. Todd Pettengill might say good things about him too. I had Todd Pettengill in the brain. Stop it. I could go another 20 years without thinking about Todd Pettengill, but man, he is in there tonight. So no, really Todd Martin. So I've listened to the people that I respect as wrestling journalists tell me what they've thought of him. So like I went in with pretty good expectations. As I said, that Tribal Ink, I was just like, ooh, like bad decision. But we all make bad. Like I have a tattoo that I'm not proud of. So I get it, So, but no, watching him, I'm just like, this motherfucker had it.
Is it fair to say that tattoo is not proud of being on you as well?
I think it's probably pretty happy to. It's just like, I got him. Just like, yeah, you did. You won.
This was really interesting, right? A squash of Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, don't call it anything but a squash.
No,
that's what it was. Tom Phillips said Karrion Kross just routed Tommaso Ciampa. And they really, 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 really like Karrion Kross.
Do you?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I don't see a downside. Like I don't see any possibility he's not going to be whatever you want to call successful in the main roster. I don't have a lot of faith in what's going on in the main roster right now as far as pushing guys or whatever. But
I don't see how they can fuck it up. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't.
I said that to Andreas Hale on Twitter today, the sporting news guy, and I was like, they screwed up Ricochet, so anything's possible. Although Killer Kross
Ricochet's not 6'4".
He's not. And a matter of fact, Road Dogg this week said, and everybody was really surprised by this, that if Adam Cole had a body like Karrion Kross, that Adam Cole would be the Universal Champion. And I don't know if that's an insult to Kross or an insult to Vince or whatever it is, but yeah, he's exactly like Triple H probably like, Vince, trust me, you'll like him. Trust me.
Yeah,
you don't need to see him, you'll like him.
Don't even watch a video. Just have him walk to the ring and do their entrance.
Yeah,
I love her. Does he have a name? I love her.
Exactly. Can he just carry her to the ring? Can he just do that?
You should carry her. Carry on. I get it.
Not sure what this means for Ciampa. I think if this is Ciampa's role now, or it's just a one-time thing, but
I think it's a one-time thing.
You generally don't really recover from things like this as far as where he was once in the company and where he is now. Route. The route. A lot of people got routed. I don't think the Hardys ever recovered really from their route by Brock Lesnar. When he first broke in. They were still for a long time to me, and a lot of people they lost a freaking a handicap match against Brock Lesnar, and I think this. Ciampa's beloved. He's beloved and he should be, but it's hard to recover from getting beaten like that.
I think you get Kross out of there quickly, and I think you move past it quickly. I think that's the key. I don't need Kross in NXT for a long time. So I feel like there's the road there could potentially be the Road Warrior effect of just scorching the earth.
Right.
Because
who else can afford to take that kind of loss? Because now he's established as the kind of guy who can do that. Who else can afford? Nobody can afford to take that kind of loss and give that kind of rub. There's nobody left like that because Ciampa's among the very best they've ever had.
Yeah, no, he needs to go to the main roster and
Tag team with Shorty G.
yes, obviously.
That's
Bring back Hornswoggle.
That's gonna happen.
They should be a tag team. They should be co 24/7 champions. It would be so great.
There'll be in a faction with with Kali.
Oh,
and with of course Scarlett, and it will be
be really good.
Fantastic.
Oh, they should dance.
They totally will dance.
They need to dance. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So, finish of the match came with the cross jacket to Ciampa passing out. Strong victory. I liked it. As I said, I love Ciampa a lot. I prefer Ciampa in that heel role, and can't nobody have my dick is bigger than yours contest with Cross right now. So I'm actually glad that Ciampa's not a bad guy, because I think he would look like I think he would look inferior as a bad guy beside Cross right now. I think Cross is just showing everything for where he is in wrestling. I think he's killing it.
Yeah, he's got quite the future for himself, and I'm interested to see what they do with him. And who knows, maybe he'll put on Mojo faceplate. We don't know what's going to happen there.
There you go. Up next, 3-way title. Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Charlotte defending the NXT Women's Champion. I remember a few months ago when that was going to just be called the NXT Championship along with the other NXT Championship, but now it's the Women's NXT Championship.
Yeah, the whole Charlotte to NXT thing has been a gigantic miss for me. I don't get it. I think it's, there's this duality with Charlotte where there is a subtext where they don't really push her. They don't really push her merch. They don't really push her as the queen. But there's also this undeniable thing where, well, let's put her in the main event because she'll always carry her load and she'll always be great and she'll always look right and she'll always be great. And, this was another example to me of like, well, we'll just send Charlotte to NXT. Oh, no, it's fine, Charlotte. You're going to bring more, stature to that NXT title. Man, I don't even get what the hell that is. I don't even understand.
I was okay with it because I felt like it gave us a fresh set of I think the goal was to give us a fresh set of opponents for Charlotte, but then we see Charlotte on all three brands every week.
And the ones with the most intriguing matchups are gone. Bianca Belair's gone and Baszler's gone.
Yeah. So, but it's like why are you going to send her to NXT if she can be everywhere else?
Right. Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's plenty of girls or women that can have great matches on all three rosters. So it's just like, it's okay if she's only on one.
But much like the WrestleMania 3 main event, adding Charlotte to a one-on-one to make it a 3-way makes it a better match. It ensures
it does
quality, and in this case, a sense of polish that might not be there. A sense of sports entertainment, a sense of this is what Vince wants. It's not going to get indie-rific with Charlotte in there. She's going to emote. She's going to do her thing. She's going to have credibility, and anybody who beats her is going to get a rub. My friend Dave, Super Dave Miller, I'm sure you know him as Pondwater Dave.
Yeah.
Brought up a great point in the chat today. He said Charlotte got robbed because back in the day, the figure 4 would also be a pin.
Yeah.
So
I actually thought that coming out of it, I'm just like, does Charlotte show up on Wednesday and have a legitimate claim to still being the champion?
Right. But I mean, in fairness, Shirai did appear to break the neck of Rhea Ripley, so she probably deserved the victory.
At first glance, I thought it was the most dangerous looking moonsault of all time. But then on the replay, it looked like Ripley moves and she doesn't actually hit at all.
No, but the way her neck and her head were, it brings to mind when Bagwell slipped out of the Bulldog by the Steiners, and his head slipped out and his chin hit the Steiner's shoulder on the way down, and ended up being paralyzed. And that's a lot. It looked like like a Styles Clash gone awry. Her head fell out. Her head got caught, and man, she could have really gotten hurt. Also, there was another spot where Shirai jumped off the house.
Oh, my favorite. That was the best spot of the night.
And it looked like she just flushed Charlotte right in the face with her knee.
Flying crossbody was amazing. I was just happy that no one beeped the horn, and she wouldn't have been able to jump off there.
It was, though, the best and most seamless 3-person Iggy I've ever seen in a row when they all went down. It was like touch, touch, touch. It was great.
Yes. So we did have Charlotte with a DX suck it crotch chop in the match.
I like it.
I'm for it.
She's someone who is not always in control of her emotions on and off screen, and that's just seemed like a really natural moment, and I liked it.
Charlotte might have had her best makeup yet tonight. That was a takeaway from me.
She doesn't look in person like she does on screen. I think it's a lot. It's just the Glamour Squad or whatever. I'm not saying I know how to do makeup, but let's look at Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is beautiful. Like, if you ever see Ronda Rousey, you would be like, wow, that's a beautiful woman. Oh shit.
Did you know she had a sister?
What's that?
Did you know Ronda Rousey had a sister?
No.
Yeah. So I follow Ronda Rousey on Instagram, obviously, right?
Sure.
And like a couple weeks ago, she posted a picture with her sister, who looks just like her, but like I don't think can kick your ass. I'm just like, here she is. This is the woman I marry.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure she could kick my ass. Don't get it twisted. But
yeah, I don't know what it is with Charlotte, whether it's the gear or the makeup on screen, but she is strikingly beautiful in person. I've gotten to spend a bit of time with her, and she is she doesn't, I think maybe it's her. She wants to be made up glamorously, and
she's the queen. She'll tell you in her promos.
They won't tell you on the merch shop, but they'll tell you in her promos. Yeah. She is the queen, but not the queen of queens.
All right. So looking at this network special as a whole, would you say this is in the better half of NXT shows, NXT takeovers, or in the bottom half?
Definitely the bottom half, because it's got such a high bar, right?
I think the bar's so high. I mean, if you wanted to put it in the top half, I don't see how, but let's just say you wanted to, you have to put an asterisk beside it. It's just like you're given so many bonus points for working in these conditions.
But even before this happened,
this is a bottom half.
Yeah, the NXT brand started losing its edge a little bit. Like, they didn't sell out their last thing, and they tried that weird War of the Worlds deal, and that didn't attend. NXT shows, like, secondary market wise, meaning if you buy on StubHub, WrestleMania weekend are crazy expensive. Like, it is the most sought after ticket. WrestleMania weekend is takeover almost always. And the Sami Zayn Nakamura in Dallas, those things were going for like $600 cheap seats.
I believe it.
And we ended up going. I did not pay $600 for it, but so you would think that they draw really well, but that's slowed down. The booking of this, I think, is the reason why. I think it's in the bottom 10%, 20% of takeovers, mainly because of the crowd, but also because of the booking and also because of the high bar.
All right. I can't super argue with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it?
I give it a 6, but like takeovers average like a 9.5.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? So
I think I'm at a 6, and it's not a negative. I mean, like, I think 6 is good. I mean, when you compare it to other takeovers, and I think in a quarantine, I think of the quarantine pay-per-views or network specials that we've seen, I think it's on the higher end.
Yeah. But what you have to have a great pay-per-view, right? Or network special are moments. You have to have a moment, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to have those moments without a crowd there.
Yeah.
And so you think about moments like, man, I remember seeing Sasha and Bailey in their match, which is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen live. And the moment where she had her in the crossface and then Sasha starts kicking her with her feet,
Yeah.
like legit. And I remember just that moment, or Sammy, Sammy Nakamura, I laughed talking about it because it was so awesome. Them standing there and just taking the crowd, that moment, you need the crowd there for those moments that are special.
I think
And
Io Shirai jumping off the top of the house is that moment tonight that
yeah,
we
that would
don't
be.
have because there's no crowd.
You have to work so hard to get. It's not like we haven't had any of those moments in quarantine. We've had some of those moments in AEW, some of those moments with the Boneyard match, but the amount of creativity and effort that has to go in creating those moments, the difference is they're not going to happen organically now. Whereas before you would have an organic moment like Rock and Hogan, they had an organic moment. You can't have those without the crowd, because the crowd is what creates those organic moments.
You can't have an orgasmic moment without a crowd.
Well,
Totally unrelated.
Maybe you could.
Oh, well, maybe you could.
Maybe you have today. We don't know.
The night is young, Matt Koon. The night is young. So, all right. Well, you were just on Wrestling NSFW. How crazy is that?
I didn't even know Wrestling NSFW existed, Jonny Fairplay.
It did not until I sent you that text.
Oh, wow. Well, let's see how it goes, and let me know how it goes. For the most part, my podcasting days are over.
Sure.
But, of course, I'm always here for you. And, of course, if anybody wants to reach out for me on Twitter, I'm at Matt Koon Music. If you need a song, or if you want to, I don't know, argue politics or whatever the hell I'm up to that day, make sure to follow me on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, just go to WrestlingNSFW.com, which will honestly just take you to youtube.com/SurvivorNSFW. So click the subscribe button and get a t-shirt at JonnyFairplay.com. Get a Blue Chew, get some Manscaped, all those things. Use promo code Survivor. You know the deal. Thank you, Matt Koon. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.